Hey guys, welcome back. This is the new series related to 5G concepts. Earlier, I was talking about the 4G concepts, where mainly the design of 4G system has been spoken. Um, so in this video, mainly we will talk about basically in this video we will talk about 5G technologies and many implementation aspects from 3GPP and what are the difference with the 4G and things like that. We will see why there was a difference with 4G. What was the reason? Why the particular things have been introduced in 5G? Okay, we'll see both the advantages and disadvantages, and if there are any disadvantages, we'll see whether those things will be taken care in 6G or not. Okay. With this, let's get started. The first and foremost question which we should be asking is, first of all, why do we need 5G? Okay, so the thing is that today many people are using mobile phones across the world, and the demand has increased a lot, and the need for faster data rate, faster download speeds and upload speeds are in demand. So mainly from the service point of view, that is called as EMBB. Okay, enhanced mobile broadband services. Okay, so the mobile broadband which was there in 4G, we need to enhance it, which means that in terms of data rate, whatever is supported in 4G, that should be made 10x. That was the goal in case of 5G. Okay, then only we can say that we can support the faster download speeds. Let's say, for example, in case of 4G, there is no buffering, okay, which was there 2G, 3G times. But in case of 4G, what happens if you suddenly drag the video? Let's say you're watching some video, and if you try to drag the video, let's say almost to the end, then it takes amount of time, right? But now with this 5G, what happens, even if you drag at any point in time, it immediately starts from that point in time, and you will see that there is no lag or delay. So to increase this data rate, what was the step taken in case of 5G? What was the drawback in case of 4G? So in 4G, 4G mainly we had used actually. I mean, if you see the series related to 4G OFDM design, then you will come to know that in 4G we had increased the bandwidth. Okay, we had increased the bandwidth, and we reached up to 20 megahertz. So this 20 megahertz bandwidth is still not sufficient. We want to increase this bandwidth way beyond 20 megahertz. Okay, so that is when we were able to actually support higher data rate. Relation between the data rate and the bandwidth, it's already explained in the 4G OFDM concept series. Okay, I will not go through here. So if you watch that, you will get to know. Maybe we'll put this playlist link in the description. Okay. So, but basically, right now you got to know that increase in the bandwidth is gonna increase the data rate. Okay. Now the thing is, what are the bandwidth supported for 5G? So as per 3GPP specification, okay. So earlier we were, I mean, it was supported from 20 megahertz to 100 megahertz, and further it was supported 400, 200, 400 megahertz, things like that. And later on, due to demand, even the smaller bandwidth support was also required. So I think 5, 10, and 15 are also supported. So here it could be 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. All are supported. Then 200, 400. Okay. So I have not come to the other concept that I will come in the next video probably. So this is for what is called as FR1, frequency range 1. Okay, this is supported for FR2, that is frequency range 2, and even here there is a plan to even go up to 800 megahertz. Okay. So I hope you got the difference in terms of bandwidth, what is supported. This mainly in this video, I will talk about the bandwidth aspect, what is supported in 5G, what was supported in 4G, and why we wanted to go for higher bandwidth. That is covered. Uh, Now, what is the like? What I want to address here is in case of 4G. So the bandwidth supported. What was the bandwidth supported? So there was 1.4 megahertz, so 5, 10, 15, and 20. These were the bandwidth supported, right? So now the thing is that um, so even 3 megahertz was there, right? So now the thing is that why did we not go beyond 20 megahertz? At that point in time when 4G was introduced way back in around 2006 to 2008 times, we need to see what was the maturity of the technology, right? Because if you want to go beyond 20 megahertz, what are the major aspects which we need to look into? One is higher signal processing time. It takes more time to process. The second one is power consumption, depending upon the higher signal processing time. Then actually we are already into 20 megahertz. The design of, I would say, the design of many components, like for example RF components or the filters. So filters are already now wideband 20 megahertz. Earlier it was you know small narrowband filters. Okay, all these things should be in place in order to define the higher bandwidth. But at this point in time, we were able to define only 20 megahertz. Even if you see right in OFDM, sorry, in 4G, OFDM is introduced for the first time, where we had to implement this FFT and all. So, but OFDM was discovered way beyond. I mean, very long back, like around the 1970s time or 1960 65 during that time. Okay, so but we could not use that because of high signal processing uh, high signal processing disadvantage. But today we are able to use this OFDM because now we have everything in place, so that we can perform the FFT operations much faster. So here we were able to go up to 2048 FFT or IFFT. Even if you want to go beyond this, then there is a crunch in the signal processing time. Okay, so these were the problems in like in when 4G was introduced, and when we wanted to go beyond 20 megahertz. But there were there were other ways where we can support more than 20 megahertz for a user, that is using carrier aggregation. So one carrier can support up to 20 megahertz, another carrier can support another 20 megahertz. So by using carrier aggregation concept, which is CA, carrier aggregation concept, the more data rate were supported. Okay, but when 5G came into picture, now we have even the semiconductor technology, or the RF components, or many filter design. They have been matured after doing a lot of research in the research labs, or in the academia, or and even in the industry. So with the enhancement in the design, in case of 5G, there was possibility to go beyond 20 megahertz, and today we are thinking of supporting up to 800 megahertz. Of course, what I want to address now is that so while we are going for higher bandwidths, what are the disadvantages? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? Based on that, how the things were compensated. Okay, so that in the upcoming videos I will be talking about it. Okay, so But right now we got to know the main advantages is to increase the data rate, right? Then what could be the disadvantage? Yeah, one thing could be like higher the bandwidth. I will just mention one aspect, like higher the bandwidth, the power consumption will be more. But for a new way where the power consumption is very much very much important, we need to have a clear checkpoint for that, right? So in that case, what are the compensation things that were taken care? What are the alternate things that were taken care? Those things we will try to see in the upcoming videos. Okay. I hope you got the clarity with respect to the first video in this 5G concept. That is with respect to bandwidth. Why we wanted to move for a 5G and why the higher bandwidths were introduced. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye bye.